Hello, everyone, and welcome to ROKStudios. I'm Stan Miller. I'm PR and Analyst Relations Manager for Rockwell Automation in the EMEA region, and I'm joined today by Javier Garcia. He is the CISO of Repsol. Javier, welcome back to ROKStudios.
Hi, Stan. My pleasure. Thanks, Rockwell, for this opportunity to be here.
Javier, today we're here to talk a little bit about cyber resilience in connected operations. This is a topic I can't wait to explore with you. So, my first question to you: when you speak with your peers, your executive peers, what's the most effective way to define and quantify cyber risk in environments where downtime and safety consequences can be material? And how should leaders decide what good looks like for risk tolerance? What do those conversations look like from your perspective?
Well, in Repsol, we have a very strong risk management culture as a consequence of our activity for all type of risks, environmental, safety, human, regulation, whatever. No, so when cybersecurity comes to the risk conversation, it is natural. We have the frameworks. We calculate the impacts and the severity and the probability. So that is a language that the business understand, and we calculate for the different type of cybersecurity risks that parameters, and that helps a lot in the conversation with the different businesses. No? In any case, it is more a conversation than a number. No?
Interesting. So, a very methodical approach, it sounds like. Javier, as IT and operational environments come together, what leadership choices best prevent security from limiting transformation while still protecting important things like availability and critical processes? What does that look like?
Well, that's an interesting question because it is true that IT and OT are converging, and now with the introduction of artificial intelligence, all the lines are getting blurred in some way. No? So from the cybersecurity perspective, we govern both IT and OT topics, but with some difference because the type of measures and the type of reactions and the type of conversation that we have for typical business based on IT are not the same in the OT environments, where we need to talk much more sometimes with the business leaders and also the people that are in the field, in the factory, in the refinery, and wherever. So, well, that is the approach and also the challenge. No?
Interesting. Javier, in the past, you've emphasized the importance of integrating cybersecurity into company culture. What practical actions make that real for the frontline operations, engineering, and leadership, especially when teams are under, pressure to deliver productivity and uptime? How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, we've had a very strong evolution in Repsol in terms of awareness and conversation related to cybersecurity, specifically in OT environments. No? Nowadays, everybody in the with responsibilities and also as users in those environments are aware of cybersecurity, and it was a journey of years of understanding as a basic user the implications, but also at the level of the factory and at the level of the responsibilities of a director of a refinery and so on. No? Now all of them are aware of the cybersecurity impact if you have some attack, and in order to do that, apart from conversations, we made a specific and detailed assessments, very specific, adjusted to the OT networks, and also we try to understand the attacker perspective and also try to explain how attackers are evolving in the industrial networks, but without threatening everybody that a lot of things are going to happen. No? So it is a balance of all that type of things.
Interesting. Javier, with accelerating regulatory expectations, how should executives turn compliance uh, into, action, into repeatable resilience capability? And what should they prioritize when they first understand they can't solve everything at once?
Well, we have a lot of regulations and more every year. No, the NIS2, the Cyber Resilience Act, the AI Act, the NERC, and also others in other countries. No, DORA and financial regulations and whatever. And well, you have to comply everything. No? And the regulations provide a lot of controls. Most of them helps to be more resilient and secure, but not all of them. No? So, as you said, prioritization is key. Not all the controls and efforts applies to the same level of industrial facility, and not all the controls and measures protects in the same way. It also depends on your architecture and your vulnerabilities. No? So you have to balance all that pieces and select the priorities and being compliant. Sorry.
One more question, and it's about people, the people element. Given persistent skills shortages, what is your perspective on the build buy partner mix for operational cyber resilience? What does that equation look like from where you sit?
Um, it is impossible to protect and defend properly a company, an industrial facility or whatever, alone. Cybersecurity is a collective effort. And we need a lot of help on that. We need partners like Rockwell, and we need also technologies, we need services, and so on. No? So our approach for that is the full collaboration, and we expect to have flexibility also to deliver what is promised, but also those are like the basics, no? But as cybersecurity is so dynamic and is evolving every week, no? We also want from our qualified partners and a step ahead, also advising us how the threats are evolving, how the impacts are evolving, and how the challenges with now digitalization, robotics, artificial intelligence, autonomous processes, and so how can be better defended. No? So that is our expectation.
Excellent. Javier, it's always great to talk cybersecurity strategy with you. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio again. A great pleasure.
My pleasure, Stan. Thank you.
And thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about industrial automation and digital transformation, visit rockwellautomation.com.